So let's skip over the fluff and get right to what I want to say in this video. Marketing isn't easy, especially as a business owner who is trying to do all of the things as well as market their business. I get it. I actually started a business in 2020, a product-based wellness business, and I found myself having to choose between two very important tasks in my business. One, marketing and creating content for the business, and two, creating products and actually running the business. With my college degree in mass communications and a couple years under my belt in marketing, guess which one I tended to lean into most? I created content a lot. I created so much content, in fact, that I actually started this business, Essence Presents, based on producing content for small businesses like me who were struggling with the time management running a business dilemma. And the reason that I found myself leaning into creating content more than actually creating products and running the business is because it felt easier to me. There were a lot of learning curves with having a product-based business for the first time. I had to do a lot of studying to get the formulas right. And I found myself just acknowledging in my own journey that creating content was a lot easier for me. But even in starting Essence Presents and doing this work for other small businesses, the problem was still there. I needed help in consistently doing these two tasks that were actually the most important, but I wanted to do them in a way that would not burn me out and would actually bring me longevity in my business. So in kind of dropping that product-based business in 2020 and really focusing in on my content production work, my content marketing work, I think that I've cracked the code for really just getting everything streamlined when it comes to content marketing, getting it off of your plate and in a very solidified, narrow piece of time to do all of your content, all of your marketing for a month, for instance, and just get it off your plate in that way so that you can regain your focus on what you love doing most in your day-to-day, which is your business, what you do. By the end of this video, my hope is that you know exactly how to market your wellness business online without wasting your time or having to sacrifice the time that you dedicate to your practice, your product, and your service. Before we get into my key points for this episode, I wanted to tell you about a resource that I have developed. It's completely free, and it has helped a lot of businesses with organizing the back end of your content marketing systems, strategies, and processes. It is called the Content Marketing Master Spreadsheet. There are 4 tabs in there right now that all have to do with task planning, organizing your monthly editorials, your content ideas, and your cadence, as well as your strategy. So if you want that free resource just to have it so that you can see if the template works with how your mind works, I would love for you to have it so that you can start streamlining content off of your plate. So click that link below to get that right to your inbox. Okay, number 1 is, I'm sure you know if you've been here, I want you to think about your goal for being in the online space as a wellness business. Instead of keeping that open-ended to you, I've actually defined the top 3 goals that I believe most people who get into the online space have for their business in the online space. And those 3 things are growing your email list, getting more traffic to your website, or building another income stream through the digital landscape. And when we really dig deeper into the core driving value for each of these goals, we can actually say that if your goal is to grow your email list, your goal is to actually cultivate relationships. If your goal is to get more traffic to your website, your goal really comes down to eyes on your business. And lastly, if your goal is to build another income stream through the digital landscape, what you really want to do is provide more value to your audience. These goals are really going to captivate, for the most part, what you are wanting in the online space as a wellness business. And I'm going to dig deep into each of them to tell you tactics and strategies and tips from 5 years in marketing that can get you to achieving these goals. Okay, so let's dive into the first goal, which was growing your email list, but also cultivating relationships. So this is all about connection building. So if relating to people has always come really easy to you, this is probably going to be an easy goal for you to achieve. And it's actually one that I believe, even if you are here to watch the other two goals that I'm going to dive into, this one might just be beneficial to learn anyhow. Most people want some form of give and take in their relationships, right? We don't want to feel like we are just giving so much and not receiving anything on the other end. If you think about all the friendships, all the relationships that you have in your life, it's typically a dance of give and take. Now, when we're talking about business and this business landscape, what I would say is the best approach to doing this, even when you have no audience, or if you have an audience, but maybe they're not extremely aligned with what you want to offer, provide value. Just keep providing value. I think some people get afraid of the idea of like putting themselves out there, putting out all this value and not getting anything in return. But that almost always is impossible as long as you are really, really providing the value that your exact audience needs. Because me putting out this YouTube video, I know that the algorithm is going to categorize me to then reach more people who are ideal to me. So the more that I can help people, even if I don't get all these likes and comments and subscribers, and that isn't so important to me. What is important to me is retention and watch time and making sure my audience is actually engaged with me, because what does that tell me? It tells me that I'm speaking to the right people. So the best way for wellness businesses to cultivate relationships is to be an active value provider. Maybe you just show up consistently on your Substack and you talk about tips and tricks for a certain health thing that you focus on. Or maybe you provide workshops online instead of in person because you want to serve that larger audience. Or if you run workshops in person, maybe start setting up a live stream so that people online can pay for you and pay to be there and participate. And then you're also gaining that relationship cultivating element of providing value to people in every capacity. Now, the biggest thing that I see a lot of businesses do that I don't want you to do, I want to help you really captivate this audience that is aligned with you. I want you to always, no matter what you do online, always include a call to action. Now, a call to action can be get this free resource by signing up for my email. But this does not have to only look like a lead magnet. Say that you want to do some sort of blog, but you only want to do this blog to people who want to be on your email list, right? You don't want it to just be this open-ended thing because you want to provide maybe a little bit more value. So instead of making your email just some email list, it doesn't have any theme, it doesn't have any grab, you could make it a blog newsletter and have that blog provide real tangible value in a very particular way to people who subscribe to you. It doesn't always have to be this like lead magnet, free resource, here's my checklist. It could also just be, here's the actual value you get on a consistent basis. Think Substack and things like that. I follow a astrologer. His name is Adam Ellenboss, Nightlight Astrology. And I am fascinated by his business model because all he does, and it's not all he does, but I think his real like longevity came from doing daily videos about astrological transits going on at the time. He did it right because he's grabbing something that is ever changing. It is always changing. There's something to always talk about with that, right? And instead of making this like evergreen educational thing, which you know I preach about, I'm all about that, but it doesn't always have to be that, is my point. He just created his own news daily talk. So he's obviously working ahead of time, maybe recording 1 week prior. But he's talking about the transits and having you tune into it simply. And I know for a fact that in the beginning, he wasn't really promoting much of what he was doing other than being like, hey, I offer education in astrology and I offer courses. And I'm sure that that kind of just that consistent effort, say you listen to that every single day. You listen. He always ends with, okay, I have a course, I have a workshop, I have a free thing going on that you can sign up for. Wow, okay. So everyone's going to sign up for that because of the consistency. It's not so much about making sure this thing is perfect and making sure your online presence is perfect. It's all about you just showing up, because people do resonate with people who put in effort, because it's like a relationship. So if you put in the effort to just show up consistently, you will get a return on your investment in your time of showing up through people connecting with you, people going on your email list simply because they know you're consistent. So just to wrap up this one goal point, to cultivate relationships, you must consistently provide value. Even if you think that getting nothing in return, or you think that you are getting nothing in return, even though your views are climbing slowly but surely, you have to put yourself out there as somebody who wants to simply provide value, because that is always going to be reciprocated in some way, shape, or form, even a little bit down the line. But stick with it, because you will always get that return. All right, so now let's talk about the second goal of driving traffic to your website and also getting eyes on your business. So as a wellness business, you want to get as much eyes on you as possible, of course. It's always the goal. But when you are diving into the online space, you want to be intentional about this, because you could put your efforts into things like ads and waste your time by focusing in on things that could happen steps down the line, instead of getting really, really clear about how you want your audience to engage with you online. Do you want to be a social media business, meaning you show up on social media? And if so, in what way do you want to show up? Do you want to actually provide a lot of value on social media, or do you want it to be more just updates? Both of those things are going to give you different levels of traffic to your website and different levels of traffic to wherever you are leading them to. But as I said in the first goal here, what is the most important thing when it comes to driving traffic to your website as a wellness business in the online space is giving people somewhere to go. You can't aimlessly create content that maybe does provide value and then kind of leave them hanging. If you want to drive traffic to your website, my number one suggestion would be to get clear on how your website is performing with SEO first. We want to make sure that the foundations of where your website is placed in the Ethernet, the endless internet, it's actually showing up when people are searching for the things that you want to provide. Now, another really good tactic that I've actually used and it has worked for me is posting on Pinterest the blogs that you create and having high traffic keywords included in those blog titles and in the blog itself. Now, you might be thinking, oh gosh, I don't even know about Pinterest. That seems like a whole big thing. And I just want to say that that's one of those areas of the internet that I believe is untapped for wellness businesses, because people really are going to Pinterest for aesthetics and seeing things as lifestyle and really beautiful visuals of lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of wellness businesses have, I think, innately this kind of minimalist, really aesthetic attraction to things. And I think that Pinterest is probably one of the best ways, especially because it's a search engine and not a social media platform. It's one of the best areas to be for driving traffic. So you also probably might be wondering, well, can I only put blogs on Pinterest, or should I do little snippets on there? And you can do whatever you want on Pinterest now, but Pinterest is meant to lead people somewhere. So if you sell a product, a wellness product, or if you write blogs about your service offering or about the subject that your service offering in the industry that it's in, this is going to be a really good place to drive people back to your website, especially if you have really good aesthetically pleasing photography and graphics of your offering, service, or product. This is going to perform really well on Pinterest, and you have access to a whole marketplace of people that are searching for you and searching for the things that you offer. That's a little bit harder to do on Google. But here's what I will say about Google. If you are interested in blogging and doing things that actually make people want to be on your website, that's another thing. I think I've heard this before. Somebody said something really good. Like, you need to think about, like, why do you want somebody to hang out on your website? And if so, give them something to hang out with. Like, what are they doing on your website other than booking with you or purchasing a product? Do you have anything else that could be more of an entertaining mechanism, but also provides more value? Now, to me, the perfect example of that is a blog. But maybe you have a feed of videos that are maybe talking head videos of you explaining what you do and how you do it, your method. That's going to get people more ingrained in you and what you offer, but it's also going to cultivate that relationship. People are going to feel like, oh wow, I know her. She talks on YouTube all the time, or she talks on her video blog, and now I just feel like I know her and I feel the most comfortable with her. She knows what she's talking about. She's talking right to me. I want to work with her. So when it comes to YouTube, YouTube is connected to Google. They're almost ingrained within each other. I believe actually Google owns YouTube. So if you search on Google your wellness business, like what industry you're in, the very particulars, so say you're an herbal business and you offer Ayurvedic herbal oils. So you could type in those 3 words, Ayurvedic herbal oils, into Google and look in the section of Google that says Google suggestions. You're always going to see questions there that people ask about the subject matter that you searched. And even though you offer a product, people are still asking the questions like, which Ayurvedic herb is best for, maybe they have a muscle condition, or maybe they want to use the oil for their hair or something. What you could do is write a blog post about that, and then you have a much higher chance of ranking in Google because you're answering the exact question that has been asked in suggestions, which means that multiple people have asked that question. Now we're getting into the authority building. People are going to go to your website because they searched, they click on your website, they see your oil alongside a blog post that is very informative, explains exactly why a certain herbal oil would be best for hair growth. And then all of a sudden you get more traffic from online marketing. And this is all organic, mind you. There's no ads. We're not investing in things before we attempt an organic strategy that's sustainable and has longevity within it. And this is what I would suggest for you if your goal is to drive traffic and get eyes on your business online. Okay, so the last goal that we are going to talk through is how to provide more value and also build an online income stream. So when it comes to your wellness business and what you do locally versus what you do online, we want to, of course, understand what exactly and in what role this online exclusive offering is going to kind of serve for you and serve for your business. You might think the easiest way to go about this, say you are in the mental health space and you are like, okay, I want to offer consultations, one-on-one consultations. So whatever this goal is for this online income stream, I want you to think about the ideal situation of that goal. So if you are, again, a mental health consultant and you want to work one-on-one with people, what would that ideally look like for you? Would it look like booking your schedule up to the brim and having all these consultations every week? Or would it eventually look like more of a program where you educate people at scale and you allow people to educate on their terms and then have access to you in incremental ways? That to me is probably going to give you the most benefit as a wellness business owner, and here's why. You are not taking away your time, and you're making more impact. And what does that mean? Time freedom. What does that mean? It means that you get to do things that actually inspire you and actually allow you to show up in a greater capacity, in a greater and unique way to your audience that you wouldn't be able to get if your calendar was chock full. So you want to really thoroughly think about what you actually want. You might actually want an income stream online, right? And you think that, well, working one-on-one with people is the highest value. And it is. But do you want to sacrifice that time of yourself that you might have right now to then work more with people, just more and more and more, to the point where you can't even show up as yourself anymore? This is why we want to be super careful, but also think very strategically and just think about the step by step of, okay, that's my goal. So what would that look like? Ask deeper. What would that look like? Okay, now if I had this program and I was doing group coaching and then people also had access to me in a controlled environment, then what would that look like? What would that do for my time? This is where we want to really dive deep and visualize the life that would come from actually executing this goal and actually living through this goal. So we are going to take the same path as we did with the last two goals of cultivating relationships and driving traffic to your website. You always want to lead people somewhere through your content. Now, I do think that to have an income stream online, you have to invest your time in some form of content creation if you want to do this organically and not through ads. And in my opinion, if you've heard my last couple videos, you would know that I'm somebody who really values long form content because I do believe that it gives you more value, more return on investment with your time and effort input into that content. Now, this long form content should always be driving people to your email list. And why is that? Because your email list is going to nurture and talk with these people in a consistent basis. And your email subscribers are then going to be able to trust you more and more as you reach out to them, as you are right in their inbox. You get to say whatever you want, and you get to provide the most amount of value that you want. You get to tell them about your exclusive offers firsthand, not your social media following, because those are not your target audience. Your target audience are the people who care about what you have to say and what you do. From this email sequence that you provide for people and at whatever cadence that you want, this is how and where you're going to drive pretty much everything else that you do in your business when it comes to connecting to your people. And as a business, we all know that everything comes down to the people, right? Businesses wouldn't be businesses without people investing in an offer or a service or product. And to be able to communicate with people in this exclusive manner is really the last step to converting your audience to your offers. I hope that this video really helped you out. Again, if you need help organizing the back end of your systems, of your processes with online marketing, content marketing, and content management, I highly suggest that you download the free Content Marketing Master spreadsheet that I have developed over my 5 years of marketing. I think it's really going to help you out and really help you streamline everything off of your plate. So if you haven't grabbed that yet, definitely click the link below and that will get sent right to your inbox. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.